So, mate, I wanted to say congratulations on the film. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and I absolutely loved it. So, congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Yeah. Oh, man, it's such a journey, but, you know.
So, tell us a little bit about that journey. Where did this all begin with you?
Well, it began, I guess it's been like, for me, 20, 25 year odyssey to finally get a feature off the ground with so many sort of false dawns and things not working, which is, you know, a lot of people's experience in the film game. When you're a first-time director, you know, it just takes that one chance, that one opportunity where all the planets need to align to be given a green light. So I got a script from Michael Robertson and Neil Kingston back at the December 2017, and that was written by Michael Baushin, and we just started developing the script, and they got it out to Cannes, and it got a lot of positive responses there, and to the point where, we were shooting in October, November 2019 in Queensland.
So tell us a little bit about what it was about that script that made you decide this is the film that I really want to be involved with.
Well, I think it was just the opportunity I think the script had great visual potential to really showcase the beauty, the beguiling, the sort of the beautiful Australian coastline of water. We have that sort of, epic scope and those original, rich, different types of colours. And then I thought the opportunity to have that beauty but juxtapose it to the danger that sort of lingers under the water that you don't see. That whole idea of, wow, I'd love to take a dip in that water, but, you never know the mysteries and the dangers that lurks below. So reading the script, I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity for us to really showcase that beautiful, rich, beguiling landscape and water, and then the dangers that we have in Australia.
So one of the things I loved about the film too was that it had layers. Over the past few years, whenever we've seen a shark film, it's normally been a bikini-clad girl being chased by a shark kind of storyline, whereas this story had layers. We had the history for one of the characters, but also things like the instant dislike between Joji and Benny and stuff like that. How important was that for you to make this film different to the other shark films that we've seen out there?
Oh, that was just everything for me, because I didn't know how much shark I was going to have in the film, so it really had to be about these little nuances and all these little histories and the dramas and mysteries that would hook an audience to these characters and try and take you on a bit of a journey and made you sort of care about them. So if there was a death, you actually felt something, because the last thing I wanted to do was, the garden variety shark film with naked girls and so forth. It's just, it just wouldn't interest me. So the biggest thing was about the characters and how we could develop that, and that's what also hooked in the actors, because they want to do that type of stuff. They want to invest themselves into their craft, and so that doesn't cost a lot of money when you can do that. We had lots of time on the raft, so all that sort of those nuances in that story and trying to connect, Kimmy's character with her grandfather and the ashes, and then finding that physical location of a real wreck, all tied all that stuff together, and then to be able to get what I wanted was, them to face the shark in the shark's domain underwater. So all those little things, I'm so glad you mentioned it, mate, because that, to me, was everything. And the amount of work that went into character bios and creating those histories and that there was an enormous amount of work went into that.
Was that something that was there with the original script, or was that something that you all worked on once you became involved with the project?
Oh, I sort of definitely worked on as we got involved in the script with myself and Michael Bausch, and I would keep giving him ideas. And then when I got the cast signed on, then I would send them all these nuances and flavours and pictures, and right down to very intricate pieces of wardrobe or jewellery, all those sort of things that they could hang on to and feel and absorb the souls of the characters. So it was always evolving. I mean, everyone will tell you that with filmmaking, it's evolving in the edit suite. It's evolving. You're just trying to find. I was just trying to look at anything I could do with the 25 days I had to add some richness to the characters to make you invest in this film, give it something more than we're looking for.
For people out there who are listening who aren't involved in the film industry, I know what you're talking about when you talk about character bios and things like that, because I've worked as a screenwriter. But how much history do you put into the characters, and how much do you put into those bios to make it easier for the cast when they sit down to try and get involved with this character?
I think some people might not put any effort in, and that's the script and say your lines, but I guess for me, I just wanted people to feel like it was a collaborative process, and that I was really open, and everything that I would send them was like, what do you think, and how would you feel, and do you know what I mean? So yeah. I wanted it to be a collaboration, and that's like in the script writing process, it was a collaboration, so everyone had to feel like they were part of the process, and I think you get more out of people when you do that, and so it was just like, how can we continue to put, as you said, those layers in there? And, you could go forever with all these bios, and it's really up to someone how much they want to read it, how much they feel that that's useful for them, because every actor has a different process. But on the whole, the reaction I got was like, wow, I've never received this type of detail before from a director or a writer. I've never got this, or even for my casting, I would make sure that there was a really detailed bio, so that someone just didn't get a couple of pages to read. Go, well, what's this? Like, what's the context? What's the given circumstances? Why am I doing this? So, I think when you do that, it helps everyone feel like they're a little bit, there is genuine, sincere love for the project and for them as people and for their careers,
Yeah. And how did you go about the casting process? Because you've got such great actors there. They're actors that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of before, but they put in such amazing performances. How did you go about that casting process?
Yeah, well, it was with Katrina Bowden. It was we were after a really good name in for the North American market, and so Katrina came with that. It was fantastic, and then with the other guys like Aaron Jacobenko, who had just done Tidelands at the time. I was doing all these Zoom meetings, chemistry meetings through Zoom, and we just hit it off immediately, and I just knew that I had to get Aaron involved because he was such a dynamic, nice personality to have around the troupe of actors, and he would galvanise everyone, and he had such a positive spirit, and he's a very committed actor, and very physical in that he'd done so much diving and water training for Tidelands, and he could bring that to this shoot, and I was so determined to get Aaron. I even colour graded his casting tape because I wanted to make him look as tanned and as good as he could to the producers. So I was desperate to get him out, and it was the best thing we did. And then of course we had Tim Kano, who played Joji, and Tim was amazing. He's such a lovely guy. He really embraced that. Really wanted a different part of him that he'd done since Neighbours. So really, and I think Tim came up so well. And of course Kimmy, who played Michelle, was amazing, and TK, who is from New Zealand, did a great job as Benny, so underplayed, and all these different little humorous bits and pieces that he added and ad-libbed into the film. So what we were after was a really contemporary sort of mix, a contemporary cast where we could, with Kimmy and with Tim, they had that Japanese heritage. They both have Japanese fathers, so we used that into the script, and we infused that into the script because from Western Australia, where I'm from, up in Brew, the whole pearl industry was based around Japanese divers. So we have a very rich history, a true history with all of that, and so we could add those layers into the film.
Yeah. And how tough was the shoot on the actors? Because I know they spent a lot of time in the water and on the water.
Yes.
How tough was that for them as a cast, and also for you as crew as well?
Oh, it was a grueling process for everyone. The cast, they were absolute troopers. Because you got Katrina who's coming to a new country and a new crew, and then suddenly he's got to get into the water, and sometimes it can be cold and very challenging. In claustrophobic scenarios underwater, that is really hard and really harsh. But they were just so committed and so wanting to invest into the project and into the action and into the suspense that I never heard one ounce of complaint. They were just amazing. I'd love to work with those guys again. For the crew, the 25 days, it was grueling. You're out on the ocean, you're out in the elements. You know, there's wind, there's tides. You lose 2 hours, you lose an hour, and then you're wrapped because you just can't do anything. Then you've got to try and find that time the next day. So it's always this, battle with time.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
We always ask this to anyone who's done a film that's set on the water on this show. How much equipment did you lose, and was there any really bad stories about working on the water? Because I've heard some pretty terrible ones over the years.
We did lose, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. We have, the director's viewfinder, the monitor, and I had a handheld one, and we had it on a stand. And I had to talk to someone, because there's always people. So you're in sort of, waist high water, but you could plonk it down. And then I was talking to someone, and I saw 2 people holding it, and then the next minute it went into the drink. that was a bad one.
Yeah.
And also, that was a costly one. And then there was the time with the seaplane sort of sunk unexpectedly as well. It sunk a little bit, and there might have been a few cast members on the plane. But so you have these little, no animals or people were injured in this film, but you have these little moments of like, oh my goodness, we better sort that out. So yeah, you're always going to get that on water. You're always going to get it.
Yeah. There's also a remarkable believability with this film as well. And of course, with sharks, we're all kidding ourselves if we don't admit to the fact that at some stage we've been in the water, something's brushed against us, and we've had that moment of, that's a shark. The believability, though, with this film, how important was that for you to bring to the screen? Because it comes across so well and just enhances that fear that we already have of sharks, I think.
Well, where it was really important, I tried everything to make it real. So when they're in the water, you go, oh my God, you're with them, you're in the moment, you're scared. It was very important. So I did my absolute best with the tools that we had. We all did our absolute best to make it as real and as visceral as possible,
Yeah. And do you do much research into how a shark attacks or how they go about hunting down prey and things like that as well? Because I know when I was watching it, I was thinking back to docos that I've watched, and you seem to nail that as well.
There was quite a bit of research by the writer and myself into, that the sharks do actually hunt in packs or great whites. So, and we'd watched a lot of videos and docos on that. So, yeah, we were trying to infuse all of that into the movie. So, pretty glad that it has sort of come across a bit. That's really good feedback.
Yeah. Now, everyone, of course, knows about the famous mechanical shark in Jaws. Tell us a little bit about the sharks that you had to develop for this film and how you went about doing that, and were some of them actual shark footage as well?
Yeah, there's a combination of stock footage, CGI sharks, and animatronic shark. Now, I know with Jaws they had Bruce, and if you've seen all the documentaries, which obviously I have, it's always like the shark's not working, so, and then finally the shark's working. So their shark was called Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer. We had a animatronic shark called Brenda, and I don't know where the name came from. I think it's just a female version of Bruce. So, yeah, we had lots of fun with that, and it was just it's a combination made of all those different types of sharks to try and get us across the line.
Yeah. Now, location-wise, you mentioned before that it was shot in Queensland. Tell us a little bit about the location and why you chose that location to film, because it looks absolutely spectacular.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's all about showcasing, that sort of sense of a tropical paradise in the northern of Australia, that beauty, that sort of vibrant, very beguiling beauty. So that's what for. So a lot of the beach and Peel Islands and off Gold Coast. So yeah, really looking for that exotic tropical beauty that would appeal to an international audience and sort of show that sort of grand scale of these people going on an adventure into the unknown.
Awesome. Well, mate, I know we are running right out of time. So to finish off, I'd just like to ask, what would you like to say to people out there before they go and check out Great White?
I think I would like to say just come and watch a entertaining, survival thriller and come and relax and vicariously live through these characters and their journey and and have fun with it, basically.